Hey Fiona, I'd like to welcome you to DS0201 Assessment 1, Ethics, Companies, Brands and Values. This is my presentation to go along with my research. So an initial table of contents of what I've got in this presentation, an introduction slide. I have an image there and it is of the Greek god of justice, which reflects back to ethics and good practices there. And a quick description of ethics and best practices I've included. Ethics refer to moral principles guiding behaviour, while best practices are effective methods for achieving goals, with citations. My chosen brands, so I've done some initial research before I selected them, and I'm in the tech industry as a user experience designer, and the two brands that stood out to me the most are Dell. It was nearly on the top step as far as you go with tech companies. It was really good, and then down on the very bottom, on the top of all the evil lists, sits Amazon. You would have heard of Amazon before, I would imagine. And so a brief overview of Dell. I've basically just got here what the company specializes in, what products they produce, services they offer, etc. And then I jumped straight into Dell's ethical qualities. So the thing that stood out to me the most was, well, the reason I selected it was because of the F-Sphere Award. I've done some research into that. It's very cool. They've got a board of 12 members, and basically they sit down and all big companies over $250 million revenue a year, they basically sort of rank them in terms of ethical qualities and stuff, and Dell has been honored 11 times since 2006, which is really good. They do a lot of really good things, and I'll touch on some of the things there. So the first topic I'll touch on is workplace environment. So it's been voted America's most loved workplace last year, which is very cool, and scoring 100% in the Disability Equality Index, also awesome. And then same for the LGBTQI plus. Very good with them as well. And then that just sort of demonstrates their commitment to an inclusive and supportive workplace. The second topic I've picked is the sustainability. Dell do this very well, and sustainability is a big topic now. Back in the day, it was more so greenhouse gases, and Dell's been committed to cutting their emissions since early 2000s. So well ahead of the game there. They're definitely not new to this topic whatsoever. Again, ambiguous targets by 2030. They want to be reusing and recycling the product for every new product purchase, which is very cool considering how much product they actually put out. And then 100% of packaging will be from renewable or recycled, and over 50% of their products will be from recycled materials, which is massive when you think of computer chips and batteries, etc. Very cool. And then an image to go with, and it's have a good look through it. It's very cool. It just shows you their closed loop for how they actually recycle their products and plastics. Transparency and accountability. They're very open, so they provide reports and disclosures regarding their environmental and social performance, and they also maintain open lines of communication with their stakeholders, employees and investors, which is can be pretty rare in the tech world. And now touching on the more unethical company, which is Amazon, and again a bit of an overview of the company. Multinational technology company, and it's basically a one-stop shop for all products these days. They sell everything and they have their hands in everything as well. It is, they have some benefits. This company, it's one of the most influential economic and cultural forces in the world, and one of the most valuable brands, money-wise. But it does come under constant criticism, with a lot of allegations of anti-competitive or monopolistic behavior and criticism of the treatment of workers and consumers. So already some big red flags, no good. I included this image. It's in my research as well. I thought it was a very good one. But yeah, they've been criticised for all aspects of the company's business practices and policies, so that is not good. And some of the issues that I've sort of touched on and went into more depth on is tax avoidance. So like all big corporations, they sort of funnel their tax up through tax havens. And then so in Europe, they done 44 billion euros in sales and paid zero euros in corporate tax, which is absurd, because that money could be used for public services to help governments, and that comes back to me and you eventually. Their labour practices, this is in the headlines quite a lot. They have substandard conditions. They're being worked like human robots. And basically they can't have any time off, and it's just they're just a number. All their work is back to numbers, and it's as soon as they're not performing, they get sacked. A lot of employees have died on the job as well, which is very bad. You can see in this image here, they're ex-employees or employees all protesting. This is for the emissions, but they protest a lot about the company. Environmental impact. Because it's such a big company, it does have an enormous footprint, a lot of carbon emissions, a lot of packaging waste, and they're not doing enough about it basically. Also, they do not rely very well on renewable energy. It's all fossil fuels, which is, that sort of needs to change as well. And that's a summary of all my research. And to conclude, so in the presentation, I covered the significance of ethics and best practices. I explored Dell's excellent ethical leadership while touching on Amazon's concerning practices. It is crucial to consider multiple perspectives when evaluating a company's ethical standing, because again, I did focus heavily on the unethical practices of Amazon, where they do their part as well. They are trying to toe the line and improve, but they're lagging, so that's why they're criticized so hardly. And then that concludes my my presentation. And then all my APA 7 references, and I'm cited through all of the presentation as well. Okay, thanks Fiona, bye.